In 1970, a family of four could live a completely comfortable middle-class American life on one salary. Own a house, 2 cars, have an annual vacation, and send the kids to college. Today, that same lifestyle requires 2 full-time incomes, and even then, most families are one emergency away from financial collapse. The Pew Research Center defines the middle class as earning between 2/3 and double the national median household income. Right now, in 2026, that means roughly $56,000 to $169,000 a year for a family of 3. That's a wide range. A nurse in Ohio and a top software engineer in Austin can both be middle class on paper. But here's the problem. In 1971, 61% of American adults were middle class, but by 2026, that number had dropped to just 50%. After World War II, the deal was simple. If factories and companies made more money, workers got more wages and salaries. Then, around 1979, both correlations separated. According to the Economic Policy Institute, worker productivity grew by 61% between 1979 and 2020, while wages grew by only 17.5%. That gap is $50,000 in annual earnings that the average worker never receives. So, for decades, Americans kept the illusion going. When wages didn't rise, people instead started borrowing to keep up. Between 1980 and 2026, total household debt in America grew from $1.4 trillion to $18.8 trillion, a record high, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York's latest report from early 2026. Credit cards, car loans, student debt, now at $1.6 trillion. The middle class didn't decline slowly. It propped itself up with debt and called it stability. Families are one emergency or layoff away from total bankruptcy and losing everything they worked for. So, how did we get here? The 1970s. Stagflation breaks the post-war economic consensus. Wages and growth decouple. 1981. The Reagan era begins. Massive deregulation, union busting, trickle-down tax policy. The share of workers in unions drops from 35% in 1954 to just 10% today. Then, between the 1990s to 2000s, globalization led to most manufacturing jobs going overseas. Over 5 million factory jobs gone. The communities built around them hollowed out. Then, the 2008 financial crisis wipes out $13 trillion in household wealth. The rich recover in less than 2 years, while the middle class, after decades, is still yet to fully recover. 2020 onwards. A pandemic, then inflation. Grocery prices up 26%. Rents are up 30% in major cities in just 4 years. Every decade brought a new pressure. There was never a recovery that reached the middle. All while the top 1% now holds more wealth than the entire middle class combined, according to federal